As the Claretian congregation continues its journey towards the 27th General Chapter, communities around the world are renewing their commitment to mission, discernment, and fraternity. This edition, we look at the recent message of the Superior General following the intensive preparation sessions held in Rome. In our brief news today, we look at formation and synodality in the Americas, Claretian Mission Day 2026, Claretian Youth Camp in the Philippines, celebrations in Cuba marking 175 years since the arrival of St. Anthony Mary Claret, and leadership formation in Ivory Coast. Thank you for joining us in iClaret News. The Claretian congregation continues its preparation for the 27th General Chapter through a process of discernment, listening, and missionary renewal. In a recent letter to the congregation, the Superior General Father Matthew Vatamatam reflected on intensive sessions held in March and April as part of the preparation for the chapter, which will take place from August 15 to September 10, 2027. The General began by expressing concern for the suffering affecting many parts of the world. He referred to ongoing wars, political tensions, economic hardship, and the growing suffering of vulnerable communities in countries where Claretians are present, including Haiti, Sudan, Congo, Nigeria, Cuba, Venezuela, Ukraine, and the Middle East. The letter calls the congregation to become a witness of peace through dialogue, fraternity, and service. For the General reminded missionaries that peace begins with personal conversion and grows through communities that promote respect, justice, and reconciliation. A central theme of the preparation is synodality, working together as a missionary family. The General Government described the chapter preparation as a shared spiritual journey involving the entire congregation through prayer, listening, and communal discernment. The theme chosen for the preparation process is One Mission, One in Mission, mystical and prophetic missionaries on the synodal path. The preparation will use the methodology known as conversations in the spirits, encouraging participation at every level of the congregation life, including communities, major organisms, and lay collaborators who share the Claretian mission. Father General also announced several important initiatives discussed during the intensive sessions. These include the opening of a new mission in Papua New Guinea, the approval of a future Claretian presence in the Central African Republic, and the creation of a Claretian Family Ecological Network together with a climate fund to support ecological projects. The General Government also reflected on missionary formation, intercultural living, economic transparency, leadership training, and accompaniment for missionaries serving in universal mission assignments. As part of the spiritual preparation for the chapter, the congregation will begin a reflection process on the Lord's Prayer through a series of short modules prepared for personal and community prayer. The letter concludes with an initiative to journey together with hope during this Easter season, trusting that the Holy Spirit continue guiding the congregation in its missionary service to the church and the world. From April 19 to 24, 2026, formators and formanti from different Claretian organisms in the Americas gathered recently for the MICLA Formation Encounter 2026 in Cordoba, Argentina. The meeting, facilitated by Father Joseph Mbungu, the General Prefect of Formation, focused on Claretian synodality, intercultural collaboration, and formation for mission, Participants reflected on how to accompany future missionaries with openness, dialogue, and missionary creativity. On April 19, 2026, Claretian Mission Day was celebrated worldwide under the theme Without Borders. In Rome, the event highlighted the reality of migration and human mobility through exhibitions, missionary testimonies, and multilingual musical presentations at the Basilica of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, Parioli. The celebration emphasized solidarity, communion, and closeness to displaced communities. From April 8 to 13, 2026, young people from different Claretian communities gathered at iClaret School of Zamboanga City in the Philippines for the Claret Youth Camp under the theme Solidarity in Love, Mission in Action. The program combined prayer, formation workshops, missionary outreach, and visit to vulnerable communities, including children, elderly persons, and persons deprived of liberty. Participants also reflected on evangelization in the digital world and the call to live faith through service, compassion, and missionary commitment. On April 18, 2026, Claretian communities in Cuba commemorated 175 years since the arrival of St. Anthony Maria Claret on the island. A missionary youth gathering brought together young people for prayer, evangelization activities, and cultural celebrations, renewing the missionary spirit inspired by St. Claret. From April 26 to May 2nd, 2026, in Boisfré, Ivory Coast, Claretian of the delegation of St. Jean Paul II participated in a formation program on Claretian discerning leadership. With the facilitation of Father Jude Lange, the sessions focused on collaborative leadership, missionary decision-taking, and community accompaniment in the spirit of the Claretians. As our congregation continues its journey towards the 27th General Chapter, we remain united in prayer, mission, and hope. We congratulate all Claretian recently ordained and finally professed, and we remember with gratitude our deceased brothers who faithfully served the gospel. Thank you for joining us.